You guys know what time it is? Dame time. Finally. 2 years. Not kidding, I just looked. Our Dame 8 review was 2 years ago. That's too long for a new shoe. Or is it? Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today, we got a detailed look and breakdown on the Adidas Dame 9. Now, before we get started, we do have a quick word from today's sponsor, and that's the good folks over at Sole Premise. Sole Premise offers a great variety of travel bags that are designed and built with sneakerheads in mind. The carry-on travel backpacks can fit up to 5 pairs of shoes, or if you're a light packer, 1 pair of shoes since you're already wearing one while you're traveling, which leaves you with a ton of space for all of your other belongings. And yes, these bags are TSA approved. They fit in the overhead compartment. I've tried this many times and it works successfully. The travel day packs fit up to 2 pairs of sneakers. They even have toiletry bags, crossbody bags, and my personal favorite, the sports bag. I use that every day when I go to the gym. It fits my backup pair, my testing pair, and then another testing pair, along with all of my other stuff, gum, water bottles, change of clothes, sometimes my camera. You never know what might be in that thing. It's like Mary Poppins bag. It's amazing. You can use our promo code that you see on the screen right now to save yourself up to 40% on your purchase with the link down below in our description box. You're welcome in advance. Now, real quick, I did want to just kind of like compound my thoughts briefly, or should we hold that for like, could I hijack question of the day?
Fine.
You do it all the time.
It's because it's my job.
So, I have a good question.
Okay.
All right. We'll wait till the end of the review. Stay tuned. The shoes come in this box, just a basic Adidas box, and they slap Dame's logo on there. Am I mad about that? At this point, no. I'm just glad that he finally has another shoe. They had the Dame 8, and then they had the Dame 8 EXTPLY. What is that?
Extra play?
Maybe, I don't know. But either way, there were 2 models of the Dame 8 and they lasted 2 years. And I thought that the line was overall canceled. I didn't think that we were going to get another Dame signature sneaker, much like with the D Rose line where he's still an Adidas athlete, but we don't get like numbered D Rose models anymore. Instead, we just get Resto Mods, which are their version of a Protro. And then we get the little amalgam shoes, which I can't remember what they're called, but it's like a little hybrid and they are made for performance. Now, as far as these guys are concerned, the traction is interesting. Looks like a bunch of little thunderbolts or just like an electric pattern. Whatever it is, it's kind of a modified version of herringbone, and it's all over the shoe. It's from heel to toe. The outsole itself looks really cool, at least in my opinion. And I don't mean just the traction itself. I'm talking about like the actual design. Like you could see the little flex groove right here, which is really dope. On top of that, you could see the foam poking through that flex groove at that forefoot section. Plus, they allow it to poke through at the heel as well. So these guys right here are stupid comfortable. One of the things that I'm not thrilled about, and this is just a me thing, not a universal thing, like I don't think that most players are going to be concerned with this, but you can see through this particular outsole, you can see their infinity plate, which is their torsion system. So it's this whole like figure 8 thing that goes through the entire shoe. And the only reason why I'm personally not excited for that is just because the shoes like this, or at least that are built like this, which would include these, the AE1s, the AE1 lows, the Dawn Issue 6s, they all have plates that run through the forefoot, and it makes the forefoot area start off a little bit stiff. And for me personally, I've been having a ton of tendonitis pain. Yes, I stretch, I do all the things, okay? And so it makes the break-in process of the shoe almost unbearable. So it makes me like playing them for a little bit and then I take them off, and I play them for a little bit and then I take them off. And I wish that the plate was a little bit less restrictive in the forefoot and just maintained its torsion rigidity at the midfoot. But again, that's just a personal thing. It's not a standard for every hooper. This is gonna be a great setup for most people. I just know that I'm gonna be in a little bit of pain for a little bit, and I don't like that. Now, the midsole is interesting because it says that it's light strike, and they use light strike in the AE1 lows, and I don't love it in that shoe, but I do like it here. It feels like a completely different type of foam. It's like really interesting. So the way that it feels is that it's like really plush in there, despite having this piece of for the insole. And I just find it like fascinating that like this feels way more, plush is the only thing that comes to mind, so I don't mean to reuse the word, but when I'm comparing these to my experience in the AE1 lows, the AE1 lows feel firm in comparison, which is crazy to me because they use light strike and boost. This is just light strike and they feel amazing. So yeah, if you're looking for that kind of like plush, pillowy feel, maybe try these out. You might enjoy them. Now, the housing setup for the cushion is really weird. The medial side of the shoe, this is all foam right here, from the back all the way way to the front. These little teeth things that kind of remind me of the Air Jordan 14 a little bit. That's all foam. But when you're looking at it from the lateral side right here, this wedge is all foam, but the teeth here and then the top line of it is not. It's like a rubbery piece. I believe it's for lateral support, so it's kind of like acting as the outrigger. If you were to look at these straight on, they flare out a little bit. So instead of having a kickstand style of outrigger like a Kobe, the mold of the actual shape of the shoe is the outrigger itself. So these are nice and wide. If you look at them from the bottom, nice and wide, kind of like a Curry. And then you're going to be sitting inside of that molding right there, so it's going to keep you covered and locked onto the footbed. And then they've added these flex zones to those portions as well. Those actually are connected to the flex zone in the forefoot. Just a really cool design. Everything on this just feels like really purposeful, and I'm really excited to play in these. Now the materials are synthetic leather. They don't feel quite like leather. Like, it doesn't have that like, oh, I'm gonna mimic premium leather type of feel. This definitely is the more plasticky version of synthetic leather. How it'll play, I'm not sure yet. It feels fine to me so far, so I'm not like really worried about it at this point. I do like this more than another textile shoe or another knitted shoe or another shoe with plastic fuse all over it. I do prefer this over those things. It's just a nice change of pace. And again, the design is very purposeful, at least it feels that way. You got the 3-stripe branding right there, but they do have slight little cutouts so that they allow the shoe to breathe a little bit. So again, really like it. I think that everything in here feels super functional. They really, like, the more that I look at these, they look like a souped up version of an Air Jordan 14. Maybe the 15 too, but like still, it just really reminds me of that. And like the Air Jordan 14, they've got an internal lacing system, and they come laced like second to last. So there is an additional lace rung in there. You just got to move the inner booty area to be able to find it. And when you look inside the shoe, which hopefully the shot comes out okay, I'm not sure, I can't see, man. Like, it's hard to get inside here when there's no tongue, like traditional tongue. But you can see that each of those nylon lace loops that act as the eye stay go all the way down to the footbed. So you're locked in from the midsole to the lacing system to the overlay material structure. It's just a super cool thing. I know that I said this already, but I'm very excited. These feel like they could be a great shoe. They feel like they could be better than the AE1. Whoa. Speaking of that booty, it is fully in there. So this is not just a gusseted tongue. This is like a full-on booty sleeve from the heel all the way down to the forefoot area. Is it a pain in the ass to get into? A little bit. It's not like anything crazy. I've had way worse, but just letting you guys know that that's what it is. It reminds me a little bit of the Dame 2. And then they had this other one that was with the boost, little puck in the back. So yeah, I really like these, man. Like this is just a cool shoe. You got Dame's logo on the tongue, much like it was there on the box. And they've also added his number on the back of the shoe, and it's in reflective, so that's pretty cool. And then the one thing that I'm kind of worried about, just based off of a try on, I'm not like super worried about it, I'm just hoping that my socks can like handle it, is that full strip of stitching right there, because I've really felt this, dude. Like, I was like, oh crap. If that's the thing that chews up my ankles again, I'm gonna be super pissed. I don't know why they keep doing this, especially in like zones where there's like movement and friction and all this stuff. This has been a big complaint of mine for 15 years, and I'm not talking about just this shoe. Like, I've had this issue with numerous shoes, numerous brands, where I'm like, why do you knot all the stitching up in areas that will rub and chafe on the ankle zone, dude? Like, it's like, come on, man, put something in between that. Use a buffer zone. Please! God damn it! Now, as far as fit is concerned, I went down half a size, not by choice, but because that was the only option left. These things were selling like hotcakes. They've already released in Canada, which is how I got them. I bought them on eBay from a Canadian retailer. I had to go down half a size. It's just, they were just moving really quickly. And I'm kind of glad that I did, because they fit perfectly 1-to-1. If you're a wide footer, you're probably not gonna wanna go down half a size. You're probably gonna wanna go true to size. Now, with that being said, like I said, I'm hijacking today's question of the day. When we have this big cluster of releases, and I'm talking about all brands, right? Where I complain about this on a regular basis because it doesn't feel like a brand like, say, Nike or Jordan can really focus and hone in on crafting great product when they're releasing shoe after shoe after shoe, what feels like multiple times a week. I mean, we get at least 2 retro Jordans every week now, with a women's release and a men's release on the weekend. But at the same time, I just complained that it's been 2 years since we've got a Dame model, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering, is the 2-year wait good? Like, does that give them even more time to really design something meaningful and purposeful, put everything they've got into it, really get their creative juices flowing instead of trying to meet these deadlines every single year? You know what I'm saying? Where like you hear about this all the time with the LeBron line, where it's like, oh yeah, this wasn't even what the LeBron whatever was supposed to be. They had to scrap it mid thing because of all these issues, and then they redesign and this is what we got. You know what I'm saying? Like, we hear that year after year. So is a 2-year wait good, or is it too long? You know what I'm saying? Like, even me, I'm a little bit torn by that one, because I would love to see more Dame models or more anything, but at the same time, more is not always great. You know what I mean? Like, more can be too much. So what do you think?
They should treat it like with music artists. Music artists work really hard on an album and they trickle out the tracks, and then they do tours and all that. So like, treat your sneaker products the same way.
That'd be interesting, especially because, like, you know, like say the 34, there was the 34 and there was the, was it just the SE, the one with the zippers? And then there's a 34 low. That's 3 models that they squeezed into 1 calendar year.
Right.
And they could have let that go for 2 years, and then the 35 could have been who knows what, like a banger, you know what I mean? So like, that's the thing. Like, I think maybe that's the way to go, and then let all your retro product be the stuff that just kind of like, you know, it's evergreen. It just kind of comes out, it pays the bills, it makes stuff like this possible.
And that's not even considering all the different colorways or the luxurious types, like
the collabs.
Yeah. Milk it, I guess, but like do an extended milking of the product.
Does it hurt? Of course it hurts. She's milking me.
Like, if there's at least 2 versions of the mainline shoe, there's this, say the Dame 8, or what is this, the Dame 9? Like, say this is the Dame 9, and then there's the Dame 9 playoff, and then wouldn't work for this one because they're kind of lows already, but then the Dame 9 low, or Dame 9 outdoor, or something, you know what I mean? And let that go for 2 years like they did with the 8, and then the 8, whatever the that was. Like, it kind of was a cool thing, or was it? I don't know. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on that. Thank you guys so much for everything. Let us know what you think about the Dame 9s below in the comment section. Testing begins now. If you like my shirt, it's coming out soon. We should have already posted the pre-order thing and all that stuff somewhere in between the video. Hopefully you didn't miss it. And thank you once again for being here. We greatly appreciate it. We'll catch you on the performance review. So until then, y'all have a good one.